Alright, what's going on, guys? When Armored Core 6 released back in August, and players made their way through the journey 3 times through, it felt like a very cohesive story, one that reached its natural conclusions, and gave plenty of gameplay highs that left absolutely nothing to be desired, in the best way possible. And so a lot of fans naturally came to the question of, are they going to add more to this game? And it looks like we now have somewhat of an answer to that, because a new leak has come out from an official source that details a planned update for the near future that'll be adding lots of new parts to customize your AC, and these are ones that fans have not only been asking for, but are already in love with, and they're not even out yet, and there may still be more to come. So today we're gonna break all of that down, detail the story behind this update, everything we know, everything we don't, and then decide when we think it's going to drop. So if you'd like to stay up to date on all things FromSoftware, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and now let's get into it. Now, update 1.05 for Armored Core 6 has a very odd situation around it. This update actually leaked from a future press guide called the Official Pilot's Manual, which is a hardcover book that details a lot of things about the game, including specifics on parts, and is an excellent collectible for any Armored Core fan. Now, Future Press works very closely with FromSoftware on these guides in order to get the information into the book and out in a timely manner to not make it totally outdated. Now, this guide doesn't actually come out until December 20th, but a user over on Reddit was able to scan a barcode and access a bit from this guide that includes talks about updates. And when this was accessed, Armored Core was only at 1.04. So when half of this covers an update 1.05, it was very exciting to see. Now, after the news broke about this, the page was taken down, but we did learn that the update would be bringing several new weapons, as well as new frame parts. And trust me, these are some good ones. And it does give a very thorough guide on the balancing changes made in this update as well. However, there's a reason we're not going to cover these, and we're also not going to cover the stats of the new parts. And that's because people notice the details that it lists for patch 1.04 are not totally correct. And there are also lots of labels associated with the parts that are incorrectly named, as well as numbers that make absolutely no sense. So it's safe to assume that what was accessed through this barcode before release was an incomplete version, so the stats and information pertaining to balance changes are also most likely incorrect. So we'll save covering those for when the patch actually goes live. However, the parts themselves are real, and we know that people have gotten to play with them. So let's dive into those. First one up on the list today is really cool, the WR-0555 Attach. It's an arm-wielded heavy machine gun with a description that reads, heavy machine gun developed by RAD, an essential tool of the trade for RAD's sales reps. The briefcase-like compartment contains a replacement barrel for particularly heated business discussions. Now, in order to unlock this weapon, if you have not beaten the game already, you'll need to complete the mission Escape. However, if you've already beaten the game at least once, this weapon will be unlocked in the parts shop. All you have to do is just buy it. Now, personally, I'm really happy about a heavy machine gun. We really need something that's in between an assault rifle and a minigun. Personally, I think this is going to be one of my favorites. But this next part is absolutely dangerous and may be potentially game breaking, but we're going to have to see when we test it out. This is the DFGA-09 Xiao Wei, a shoulder mounted Gatling gun. Yes, you heard that correctly. This does mean you can now run a quadruple Gatling gun build. However, it is important to specify that this is a light Gatling gun. Light Gatling cannon developed by Dafeng Core Industries. The specs of this weapon place a greater emphasis on ease of handling than is typical for Dafeng, apparently the outcome of a suggestion from the Red Guns. And I love the humor in that. Now, the unlock requirement to get this weapon is to complete all the missions in the section after Attack the Old Spaceport. Or once again, if you've already beaten the game, it'll be available in the parts shop upon updating. And I can already tell that this is going to be a nightmare in PvP. If you're someone that's able to play accurately when pressing down both bumpers, both triggers, and then still maneuvering your AC, this build is probably going to be insane, and likely a fan favorite. But moving on, up next is the PFAU/66D. This is a pulse missile launcher with a description that reads, handheld pulse missile launcher developed by Schneider. The missiles create energy explosions on impact that cancel out pulse barriers. Charge to switch to a burst firing mode for improved rate of fire, and this can be unlocked at the same time as the last one by completing the section after Attack the Old Spaceport. Or of course, if you've already beaten the game, it'll be in the parts shop. Now, this one sounds extremely situational, but really good against enemies like Balteus, and will likely be a good alternative to the bubble launchers. But if you're also looking for a weapon that covers a large area and want to run something else on your shoulders, this may be a good choice for you. Next up is the VE60 LCB, and this is a laser cannon with a description that reads, variable laser cannon designed by Arquebus ADD. Linked high capacity condensers take tagged the output of this weapon to new extremes, charged to power up shots, leaving a damage trail in their wake. And this weapon can be unlocked after completing the mission Escape. Now, I've never been a super big fan of the laser cannons. I found them pretty difficult to land, but this one leaving a damage trail in its wake adds a new aspect to that, one that I think could be extremely useful. But now let's talk about the new frame parts that are coming with this update. This frame is called the Lammergeier and is a lightweight quad leg build. The head is the 44F and has a description that reads, prototype head part developed by Schneider. This proof of concept model reduces air resistance by adding an aerodynamic visor above the camera eyes. Defensive performance, however, was never a consideration, and that is definitely evidenced by it being very flat. The core is the 40F and its description reads, prototype core part developed by Schneider. This model strives for a lightweight build to the point of exposing the core block itself, putting Schneider's daring engineering showmanship above pilot safety, and it has a very horizontal design, once again pretty flat. The arms of the 46F and their description reads, development was influenced by Arquebus HQ, which vetoed an early plan to treat the front legs of the Lammergeier tetrapod frame as arms, or more accurately, wings. And let me just say, I wish we got an AC with wings. That sounds so cool. But the 42F legs are probably the most interesting part of this whole build. Their description reads, the distinctive transforming front limbs of this model are built to improve aerodynamic performance, part of a design dogma that focuses only on speed in the air. Now these legs fill a specific role that a lot of people have been asking for, and one that was noticeably missing in Armored Core 6 at launch. We now have lightweight tetrapod legs, and what that means is these legs are probably going to be king of the air, offering the highest airtime mobility, but at the cost of a lot of defense. So the Lammergeier frame is pretty glassy, but if you're looking to snipe from above, this sounds like a great pick. But that's all the parts we know of that leaked so far. It's possible that this update is going to include a lot more, due to this likely being an incomplete version with all the inaccuracies. Personally, I think there's a possibility we could get some multiplayer updates here, whether it be additional balancing or new modes added, since the majority of players have already beaten the game, and would need something new to jump into to give these parts a proper test run. But we are just coming off the back of the Game Awards where Armored Core 6 won Best Action Game, so there's likely to be an influx of new players as well. Obviously, this update was planned before the Game Awards happened, so it does make it opportune to capitalize on that. As for when this update is going to go live, we mentioned earlier that the release date for this book is December 20th, and it does speak about the update in past tense, so that gives us a little bit over a week. Now this leak did happen on Friday, and obviously today is Monday, and the reason I waited to cover this until now is because the majority of Armored Core 6's updates have happened on a Monday. But now that we're here and it hasn't already gone live, I think we can expect it within the next week. But of course, it's FromSoftware, that's no guarantee. But whenever that update does drop, I will have a follow-up video to this detailing all the specific changes and testing out the new parts, so subscribe if you want to see that. Anyways though guys, that is going to pretty much do it for this video. Let me know down in the comments section if you're excited for this update, and be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you're new around here, and with all that, I will see you in the next one.